Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. Happy you came back. Today we're going to be doing a makeup routine, and this is just more of the makeup that I like doing if I'm feeling good, if I'm looking good, if the vibes are just top tier and I know I'm about to have a good night. This is the makeup that I do. So if you want to see the tips and tricks of how I do my makeup and to of course watch this beautiful face transform, I suggest that you keep watching. So the first thing that I do whenever I'm doing my makeup is I always take these glasses off and I switch to contacts. So I will be right back. So after putting my contacts in, the first thing I do is I go in with a silicone-free priming moisturizer by Good Molecules, and I just take 2 pumps of this and I apply it all over my face. And I like this moisturizer a lot because it's really good at prepping the skin without necessarily being a primer, so you can still put a primer on top of it, and I think it just adds a really good foundation for my makeup. Okay, so after I put on my moisturizing primer, I use NYX's Professional Makeup Micro Brow Pencil in the color Espresso, and I always use just a handheld mirror, and I just go in. First I shape the brow, so you can see I'm kind of brushing it up, I'm molding it to the shape that I want it to be. And then the first thing I do is I just kind of start at the bottom and line the bottom of the brow to create the shape that I want. So once I get to the bottom of the brow kind of lined, I go in with the brush and I just brush that product up into the brow hairs and the rest of the brow shape, mold it again, and then I go in and I do the top. And I do the same thing, I just kind of make these longer lines, these longer strokes to create the brow shape that I want. And then I kind of just go in and do short strokes for filling in the rest of the brow. And that's pretty much it. Now it does look a little crazy right now, just a little bit, but the next step of my routine fixes it. So I'm going to do the other brow off camera and then I'll come back for the next step. Alright, so now that my brows are done, my next step is I take the Too Faced Born This Way Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer in the color Spiced Rum, and I take a really flat brush and I just clean my eyebrows. So what I'll do, I'll just take the brush, make sure you guys can see, I'll just take the brush, dab it on both sides, and then first I go in and I correct the under part of my brow. And then whatever excess I have, I just put towards the bottom of the brow. And then I do that same thing, but just on the top of my brow. I'll go into the concealer, dab it on both sides, and I'll take it to the top of the brow, just like so. And then I'm going to clean my other brow off camera and then we'll get to blending. Okay, so with the same concealer that I use for my brows, I also take just a little bit of it and I dab it on my eyelids, and I kind of just use that as almost a primer in a way. So then I'll take a fluffy concealer brush like this one. This is from e.l.f. This is their Flawless Concealer Brush. And I'll just go in, I'll blend the eyelid first, and then I'll go in and I'll blend underneath the brow and on top of the brow and in the middle. And that's pretty much it. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what my eyebrows are looking like. They might be cousins. They might be strangers right now. But you get the point, okay? We want our eyebrows to look like sisters, not twins. We want sisters, not first cousin, second cousin, third. No, we need sisters. So I hope my eyebrows look like sisters. I'll probably have to check while I'm editing. So the next thing that I do after I do my eyebrows is I do my foundation. For my foundation, I use the NYX Shine Killer Primer, and I just put this on the parts of my face where I get really oily. So that tends to be my forehead, my nose, right underneath my eyes near my nose and my chin. And so I just take that and I just blend it in. So after I finish priming my face, I use the Cover FX Power Play Foundation in the color N110. And for this, I always just kind of squeeze it out on my hand. Oh, you can see, I'm sorry. Squeeze it out on my hand like this. I always just put it on my hand, the back of my hand first, and I'll dab it in the areas of my face that I want to use it. And then I'll take my beauty sponge and I'll just blend it all together. And if there's some areas where I feel like I need a little bit more coverage, I'll just go in one more time with a little bit more foundation. And a lot of times it's always my cheeks, so I always just kind of go in and lightly dab a little bit more in those areas, and I blend those out. Okay, so next I go in with the same concealer that I used for cleaning my brows, the Too Faced Born This Way concealer. And I'm not gonna lie, I did get this technique from TikTok. I definitely do the one line down the side of your nose and then up your eye like this. And then I just blend this all together. So once that's all blended together, all I have to do is set this. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a culprit of not contouring. I just don't contour. I feel like I still haven't learned how to do it, so I just don't, because I don't want to mess up my face. So let's go ahead and set all of this. Okay, so for my setting powder, I use the Coty Airspun Loose Powder Face in Translucent. And I'll just take my beauty sponge and I will dab it into the powder like this. And that's a lot, so I blow some of it off. And then I'll just set underneath my eyes. I basically set all the areas where I put concealer, so. And then once I get all the setting powder in their areas, I just press in with my sponge really well. All right, so once my whole face is set, then I go in with a setting powder that's more my color to set the rest of my face that has foundation. For this step, I use the Morphe Filter Effect Finishing Powder in number 13, I believe. And I'll just take a fluffy brush. This is a really old brush from Sephora. It's a number 55. I don't even know if they still sell it, but I just know I got this brush when I first started doing my makeup, and that was like in junior high, baby. I started out early. So this brush is kind of old, but I'll try and link it below if I can. So I'll just dab my brush into that powder, and I'll just set the rest of my face. And I know y'all peeped how I got that neck. Make sure you get that neck underneath that chin. You gotta set all of that. So don't be missing steps. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to show you. Don't worry, I got you. After I do all of that, I set my face and I use the Morphe continuous setting mist, and I drown myself in this. I am not going to lie. I spray my entire face with this and more. So let's just start. Make sure you fan it to make sure it's set. And next I go in to do my lashes. Okay, so for my lashes, I always put on a little bit of mascara first, and I use the Voluminous Lash Paradise from, I believe, L'Oreal. I've had this mascara so long, the label is nearly rubbed off, but I'm pretty sure it's L'Oreal. So I just go in and I put just a little bit on the lashes, not too much because we are putting lashes on top of this, so we don't need a ton of mascara. After that, I go and pick out my lashes. So today, I think I'm gonna go with a bit of a more dramatic set. I'm gonna be using some lashes from Amazon. I'll link them down below, but since these are not cut, I have to cut them myself. So what I do is I just take the lash, I'll measure it on my eye, and I'll be like, ooh, that's just a little, actually, it doesn't look too big at all. That's actually perfect. It's actually kind of weird. I'm gonna come back after I finish measuring these lashes and I'll show you how I apply mine. Okay, so my lashes are cut and measured. Next, I use the Duo brush on adhesive. And because this is a brush on, it's super easy. So I just take it and I brush on with glue. Make sure I cover that band, because the last thing you want is to have an eyelash popping off. That's embarrassing. So let me save you from the embarrassment. Make sure you coat the lash band. Coat the lash band. And then we're just gonna let it dry a little bit. You don't wanna take it completely translucent because then it kind of loses its stickiness a little bit. You just want it to dry just enough to where some parts are still a little wet, some parts are a little more on the translucent side, and then it's ready to stick. So once it's there, I'll show you how I stick mine on. Okay, so I zoomed you guys in a little bit so you can kind of see the action that's going on. I use tweezers to put on my lashes. I don't care what anybody says. What I do is I just try and land the lash right in the middle of the eyelid, get it as close to the lash line, get the outer corner, stick her down, get the inner corner, stick her down, and then just go back around and really make sure that it's down. Especially those corners. Those corners are stubborn, but you'll get there. And that's your lash. I'm gonna go ahead and go put on the other one, and then I'll be right back to finish the rest of my routine. Okay, so if you can tell a little bit, I have one lash just doing a real good job of staying up and one lash kind of dipping down. So what I do to fix that, I learned this while watching a drag queen do their makeup. You just take a little bit of lash glue, you put it on your finger, just a little bit, not too much, and just take it and push the lash up to where it's supposed to be. And that pretty much solves it there. So once my lashes are on, I always go back with my mascara and put a little bit more on the bottom just to make sure it's blending into my natural lashes as well as possible. Because the worst thing is whenever you have that little line and you can see your eyelid between the, you don't want it. I promise you, you don't want it. The liquid liner that I use is the NYX Epic Ink Liner in black, obviously. And I just go in and I get the inner corners of my eyes right here. I get this liner in my eye a lot and it burns. Don't get it in your eye. It burns. And once I get the liquid eyeliner on, then I go back in with my mascara. I swear this is the last time. I go in with my mascara and I do the bottom. I don't do too much for the bottom, just a little bit. After that, now it's time for lips. Normally, I just go in with a lip liner. Today, I'm gonna be using the NYX Professional Matte Lip Liner in Club Hopper. And I'm just going to line my lips with this. And I always do it on top of lip gloss because it's easier to blend the color out. Now, once I get my lip liner on, I always wear lip gloss. You will never see me not wearing lip gloss. So I take my LA Colors High Shine Lip Gloss Shea Butter, and it smells so good. It looks good. It's super high shine. As you see, I already put it on. And whenever you're putting a lip gloss on top of a lip liner, it's much easier to just put the lip gloss on your finger instead of putting it directly on your lips, because then you're getting color on the wand. And sometimes after using a bunch of different colors, you can definitely kind of just mess up and dirty the wand when you want it nice and clean. I'm so sorry, that was a notification. Anyways, the very last thing that I do, I'll open one of my eyeshadow palettes. I have a bunch of little eyeshadow palettes that I don't really use, but you know, they come to good use whenever I need it for this. And I'm going to be using the color Soleil. And I'm just going to take my ring finger, dip it, and I'm just going to apply it to the high points where I want highlighters. So most times I'll put it on my nose, a little above the cupid's bow, not too much, right in the bridge of the nose, and cheekbones, just a little bit, because I don't like a lot of highlighter. And then I'll just take another finger that's clean and blend it out. One thing about this makeup, she is not going anywhere. You can try and sweat her off if you want to. She's here to stay, period. So I hope you guys found some tips and tricks to use on y'all's makeup so that y'all's makeup is also there at the end of the night, because we don't need nobody missing. We don't need nobody missing. We all need to be there. Makeup included, faces included. We all need to be there. I'll be linking the products and brushes that I use down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Like, comment, and subscribe. Get the trio. Just go ahead and get the trio done. Just go ahead and do it. And as always, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.